This is Steve with the SRP channel. Today's video is going to be about repairing a scratch, a deep scratch into the base coat of my wife's 2018 Ford Focus ST. I am the one who actually did the scratch, so that is good and bad in a way. At least we know who did it, which was me. And I'm going to show you a way that you can do this at home, that even if you don't have a lot of paint or technical experience working with uh, clear coats, that you can take on this little project. So some of the things that we're going to need are, this is some of the stuff I have. Little polisher pads. That's mainly for at the end, buffing stuff out, alcohol to clean, and this is my favorite dispenser. This is a 50-50 alcohol distilled water mix. A couple 3M compounds. One's a little grittier than the other. It's like ultra fine and fine. So if I'm using this to do the final coat, I'll use the ultra fine. And then various sandpapers, starting all the way from 600 all the way up to 5,000. So, and various steps in between. So if you're doing this at home, you probably 600 or 800 minimum, and then maybe 2,000, and then finishing up 3 to 5. These ultra fine, that'll help, especially if you're doing it by hand. I don't think I'm going to get the power buffer out. That'll help to really smooth it out nicely. And then finishing it up with with a compound here. Probably this one. See the 36057 and 39062. 3M. I love 3M products, especially with body work. And then got little sanding pads. This one I'm probably going to cut it in half and then use it to sand the little groove with. But and then tape, probably won't use that. This one, this is more tape that's flexible if it's not a straight line. So that'll be used for that. And of course, Motorcraft separate base coat, clear coat, touch-up paint. Okay, so you can do this a couple ways. Some people will sand out the scratch and then put the tape on before touching it up. I'm gonna actually put this tape on before I start the actual sanding. I think it makes it a little safer. Get that tape just like a millimeter, maybe 2 millimeters right below the scratch, and just line it up like that. So, and I've already wiped the car down with really thoroughly with my little alcohol solution. Okay, so I got the tape laid out there. You can see here, that's kind of a smooth scratch. That'll be easier. Right there, see the little jagged edges? Right there, that's what we want to get rid of. So I'll do that also with the little touch-up thing. The little head of it has a little sander on the touch-up paint, the little plastic tip. Has a little fine detail tip to get in stuff like that. And also folding up the 800 grit sandpaper. Can get to that stuff too. And this one over here, do it by hand. I'm not going to tape it off. I can freestyle that one. And also here, so this is clear coat here, damage. So I didn't bring the tape out here. So when I do the final clear coat buildup, I might add some to that, a little bit. You know, actually I probably will, to that little scratch, but I don't need to tape it off because I'm not going to be sanding any or building that up. not the correct tool. Okay, so the tip on the little tool here, your little touch-up deal, that little pointed tip, might be all it needs. That really smooths it out. It's like perfectly shaped. But I like, this is another reason I like putting the tape on too, when I'm doing this. But yeah, I just drug it along here and it's smoothing all that up real good and well. And I got a little piece here, should just get, so, and everything you're doing here too is the same as doing small touch-up stuff, but the scratch is always more involved here, and it's still jaggy all the way back there, I think. Yeah, I might not even get the sandpaper out. This is really smoothed out nice. Kind of etch out the where you have the clear coat a little bit. I'm actually making this a little bigger because you want to kind of get a little valley in there for the base coat to set in on that. So okay, so I said 4 to 5 minutes between coats. This really does probably better, like 20 to 30 minutes between real light coats. So that's still the key, is real light coats. And just got done listening to some Linkin Park. That's very one of my favorite work group music, obviously, if anybody knows Linkin Park. But anyways, not that that has anything to do with fixing a scratch. Okay, I was about to, well, I did pull the tape off and I was about to start sanding, but that still needs to build up more through there. So this is base coat. It's okay over here, I think. It's a little lumpy, but that'll smooth out. But I'm gonna try to get a couple more coats on the base coat here. Okay, so this is, I got it tape off, and gosh, this is probably almost 10 coats of the base here to get it built up. But it's kind of choppy looking, but that's gonna all be sanded out. So wet sanded, and I was gonna use this little cushion thing, but I think that's gonna be too wide. So I'm gonna grab this. Actually, it was a wedge or a shim, not a wedge, but a shim. But to take an 800 grit sandpaper, and then just start going through here like this. I'm actually going to cut this a little shorter here. There we go. And then just very carefully sand it out like this. A little tedious, but yeah, but you want to just keep back and forth. Really try to keep it within the little working area. Just open that up. So this is a basic idea here. So you want to basically get this base coat level with the clear coat. You can see it actually, it's raised up pretty good, which isn't bad. So that means once you get it leveled, so you're just going to want to kind of back and forth like this. A little tedious, but Okay, so this part here, I actually built it up too much. So it's actually been difficult sanding. So that part came out flat. I need to touch that up. And then this is actually staying a little rough here. It's not doing what I thought it should. It's not sanding down that easy. So I'm going to actually put on one coat. And then I might have not let it dry long enough, but put on one coat for the night, and then tackle this tomorrow. Next day. Fresh start. Okay, it's actually storming outside, which is very odd. Oh, I hear that. For mid-July in DFW, that's really weird. But so I put another coat on and let that dry overnight, and I'm gonna sand it out now. I think that was a problem, like it was so rough here, like that. That part is smooth enough there, but that wouldn't look good right there because it was too rough. That was sanded right there. So I'm gonna try sanding some 800 and see now how it smooths out. Okay, so I'm having a real hard time actually getting this to smooth up, feather out. It's still a little lumpy, so I've actually gotten to all the way to 500 with sanding it dry, and that actually appears to be having the best effect on there. So normally I don't ever recommend any grittier than 800 because it can damage your clear coat, but that's why I put the tape back on, just to help protect that. But this is really hard. It's still a little pitted, so it's definitely a second world problem. So I'm about to do the clean prep here for the little clear coat, and I'm showing you these blue rags. These are shop rags I buy from Home Depot. I don't know what brand they are, but they're much more lint free than a standard Evil paper towel. So I use those for rough cleanup, but when you start to want a really clean surface, I use this to wipe it down. These are pretty lint free, and then of course a good old, I use this pure alcohol instead of my little alcohol water blend. So I'm gonna put my first coat on. I'm really not real happy with that. This did not feather out like I like, and I think it has to do with just the metallic base coat. But I don't, I might try to work that a little bit more, but that just bugs the crap out of me right there. First coat of clear coat here, and this is the one that comes with the touch-up paint. And you see here, just like a little deal here. It's kind of pretty cool how they did that. But if this isn't enough or doesn't work well, I'm going to duplicolor touch-up clear coat too, kind of as a little backup. But this should work fine. So we just kind of take it, and then we'll kind of start a little, like that. And you don't want to stroke it back and forth. You just want to do it like that. Go try not to do the back and forth with it because it doesn't work as well. So trying to keep it a little steady in here, and I even have a little run right here. But so I'm going to do one of these coats and let it dry for 30 minutes, and then do another. But if it gets a little sloppy like that, don't worry too much. We're going to be sanding it, wet sanding it out. Okay, so the next step here, I have 3 coats of the clear coat touch-up paint, and I'm about to wet sand it to smooth up the clear coat. I'm going to use 800 wet sand here and then get that smoothed out. Maybe a little bit on that one, but mainly just this long one right here. Okay, so it's coming out a little better than I thought. So you want to wet sand this area with about 800 grit paper. You want the haze to be smooth, not like the lines you see. That's what will show up here. See, I'll sand a little bit more in there. Here, this is still raised a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put a little bit more clear coat here to try to level that part out on that. And I'm going to sand this out here a little bit more. You can see how that's still a little rough, but that's the idea until it's kind of a smooth haze like that right there. Okay, so I put a little bit more of the little clear coat filler there, and then sanded it out. I think that's going to be better. It's a little more flat across there. You can see here, this is all pretty hazy. You want the same haze across there. That sticks out a little bit, but I think that'll go away with the next sanding here. But I'm pretty pleased with this. So my main thing with this was that base coat on the Duplicolor just didn't sand out. You know, some paints are that way, just aren't sandable. And it's lacquer base, it should be, but you know, but who knows? It's also, you know, the metallic paint, so that probably has something to do with it. There, and I got that little spot there. Okay, so the next part is wet sanding a little bit more. I'll do, see, we did this with 800. I'll do 1200, then 1500, maybe up to, even have like, you know, 2000, 3000, 5000. So I might just go to 3000 because I'm actually going to use this giant Snap-on auto polisher. So I think I can get by with just going up to like 3 on the hand sanding on this. Okay, so what I wanted to show you on the second part here, when you're trying to get this done earlier with the 800 grit, you're primarily just wanting to get over that cut or where the clear coat was put on there. With this part, when you're getting to the 1200, you can go with a little larger surface area here, and even, you know, do something like it, kind of like this. Don't worry about being too precise. We want to make sure that whole area is sanded really good and well. And always, you know, don't press too hard, obviously. Keep it light on there, but this is kind of the idea. Just, you could even fold it over like this. I have a little pad here, but you could even do something like this and see how it kind of rolls over on the paint like that. You know, not pressing too hard on that. So polishing up the side here. I kind of wish I had actually something a little smaller. This is actually a rotary, Snap-on professional rotary buffer. So that's a low speed, it's 1000 RPMs on there. It goes pretty high, but has the switch lock too, like most professional grade, or the grip lock, or the trigger lock. There you go. But anyways, so I'm going to start out. I have two different compounds here. I'm going to start out with the number one, which is kind of a heavier cutting compound, and just start here with this, and kind of just buff around this area some, just a little bit, and then I'll get the ultra fine after I cut this down a little bit, because we still have the, still a little rough. So this is a little more aggressive, and then we'll finish up with the ultra fine machine polish. So usually start on something like this. You get your pad and just kind of just plop a little bit on here, like that. It's like kind of like wetting the pad there, because you don't want to have the pad dry. They're just going to do a little bit there. And he's on the lowest RPM is for something like this is best, but we'll just dab it like that. It's already starting to fly. So that's something else too. These you gotta. So that's kind of the general idea, and so I'm going to get a little bit more. It's kind of a tricky deal because it will obviously fling around. So if the people that do this all the time, I'm sure have the tricks for so it doesn't fling. Now if this were like the dual action rotary type polisher, it wouldn't have that flinging issue. But okay, anytime you're doing this too, you never want to angle it like that heavy. Always want to keep it kind of flat to the surfaces, like that. So if you go in like that, it's gonna get too hot and burn through the paint. Okay, pretty pleased. It's not perfect, pretty pleased. This came out pretty good back here. You can kind of see up close here. Now on my gosh, I'm going dead here. It's been a long day. The polisher, the car buffer, I had it on 2800 RPMs for the final buff out. I did it 1000 RPMs for the other 3M products. So, but overall, considering the difficulty I had with the base coat of the touch-up paint, getting it sanded out and smooth, I think it came out pretty good. The lacquer came out good. Can't see these scratches over here anymore. That blended in probably as well as it could for those scratches there. So overall, pretty pleased. I hope this video was helpful. Also a shout out to ChrisFix.com or .com. Oh my gosh, Chris Fix channel. Got a lot of ideas from him on this. That's a great channel. Check it out. But thanks for watching this. I hope it was interesting. I do plan on having more videos on this car. I put those are Morel speakers right there. And I got a kind of a hidden system. Oh, it's an OEM setup, but a rockin' stereo. But I have everything set up. I need to do videos on that. But this, by the way, is a Focus ST 2018, just FYI. So, thanks for watching this. Please leave any comments below. I'll reply as soon as I can. If there's any relevant links, we'll always leave those. And the music sponsors were pretty uninspiring this go around. Pretty much 91.7. But no, it's the unofficial music sponsors. But thanks for watching this channel. Have a good one.